Hello everyone. I want to show you how you can learn calculus while I'm gone on this Khan Academy site. And I think this is a wonderful site because it's pretty much learning at your own pace and there's tons of wonderful resources. So what we're going to have available for you when you get the access code, you will be able to join this mission of differential calculus. So everybody will be on this mission, and we're going to kind of start with um, the beginning of limits. And what's nice about this is that I can actually track how well you are doing on all of the skills that you are working on and whether you're getting them accurate and whether you're working on them consistently. So don't try to do nothing, while I'm gone because I'll be able to see that. So make sure that you are working consistently, and I'll be tracking your progress on here, and that will be determining your practice grade. So here's an example. I toyed around a little bit and I started the differential calculus mission, and I actually worked on different skills. So there's like mission foundations, for instance, things like composition of functions and manipulating formulas, which I worked on and I was able to quickly master. And then on the limit basics, I was starting to practice those, but I didn't take like the final mastery assessment yet, so I was only like a level 1 or a level 2 on those. So that means that I need to continue practicing on that until I take the mastery assessment on it. And then there's the blank boxes, which indicate skills that were not started. So what I'm expecting each day in here is that you are working on this consistently and on task the whole period, working on these videos and doing these practice questions. So let's say that I'm coming back from yesterday's work from calculus. What I may want to start with is what's called the mastery challenge. So these are skills that I already have practiced. And it has sample questions. So let's say I want to find the limit of this graph of h of x as x approaches -2. And please remember this is a two-sided limit. So what this means is that when I am coming from the left, I'm going to -2 from the left and -2 from the right. And I see that there's only a hole. So because there's no asymptote, the two-sided limit exists, and the y value around there is 4. So I'm going to put 4 in, and I'm going to check my answer. And everything's good. I got a nice smiley face for that. So then I'll go to the next question. This question, I'm going to pretend like I read this. It says f is a function that is defined on all real numbers, and its formula is given below. And g is defined on all real numbers, and its graph is when x is between -10 and 10. So what features are shared by both f of x and g of x? Now, this question, maybe for some people, would seem kind of wordy. So there are some options here if you are stuck. You could put, I haven't learned this yet, and you could be honest to the computer. Or maybe you feel a little bit more like you want to take a risk, or you may need a refresher course, so it can show you a hint. So it will give you some hints periodically. Or if you really want to learn the concept and maybe you feel a little bit stuck, you can actually watch the video comparing functions.
Which function has no x-intercepts? So an x-intercept is a place where the function intersects the x-axis. And what do we know about what's going on when something is on the x-axis?
So, what is nice about this is that it's very much geared towards you learning the question. And there are tons of examples and resources that you can use. So I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to pretend like I'm going to answer this question incorrectly. And I'm going to erroneously put that they have the same end behavior. Oh, wait. Or actually, for this one, I'll put for this question a common mistake that I see for students. So people say that just because there's a question mark at x equals 0, they say that the limit does not exist. Well, the point of a limit is that it's actually, as we go through the table, we're approaching but not quite reaching the number. And we don't reach the number, that's the point of a limit. But we get really, really close to that number. But some people put does not exist when really the limit is 8 on this one. But when I check my answer, let's say when we put D and E, it actually tells me that we do not understand the answer. Let me put a number that's wrong. Maybe I'll put 0. And I check my answer. And that's not correct. And it actually keeps track of your progress on top. And it advises how many more problems you need to do. Let's say that you go to, and I encourage you to target skills. And I'm going to make a list of skills actually that, I would really like you to focus on. Let's say we want to practice derivative as a slope of a curve. So being able to get the derivative of the slope of a tangent line. So it says practice the intuitive understanding of the derivative at a point on the slope of a curve to the tangent of a curve at a point. So if it says find f prime of 5, so that's asking us, what is the instantaneous slope at x equals 5? Now, it definitely is a positive slope, so I'm going to eliminate the negative answers. And we see that it kind of, if we look at the tangent line, it definitely is steeper than 1 because we are going up more units than over. So I'm going to eliminate 0.1 and 0, so I'm going to say 2. So I check my answer and I'm good. And then over here it says estimate g prime of 2, so I have that dot. So it's saying what is the slope of the tangent line. So remember, slope is rise over run. And maybe, I'm doing this skill and I don't totally understand. So I may put a hint. So it's asking me, it says I can view the steepness in the direction or the slope of a function's graph at a given point. And it even can walk me through that visual process, and I could see what the slope of the line is going to be. So it's rise over run. So think about that ladybug crawling up that graph. So I go up 3 over 1. So that slope is 3. And it's positive. So I'm going to check my answer. I'm going to go to the next question. And this function, this is kind of oscillating. So you may want to think about what type of family of functions this is coming from. And this one is kind of interesting. It's a trig function. I'm going to give that away. And it's at the minimum of the crest of the graph. And if we notice the tangent line at the point, we can't tell if it's going up or down at that point. It's actually going to be a zero slope, so I'm going to put 0 in. I'm going to check my answer, and that looks good. Here's another type of question. This is comparing f prime of -4 and f prime of -1. So it's asking, is the graph steeper in a negative direction at -4 or -1? And it turns out that you're going to have a steeper negative slope at -4. I'm going to check my answer, and we're good. And then I got g prime of 4, and I got to estimate that. And this one, we can eliminate most of the answer choices. It definitely is steeper than -1. So I'm going to say -3.2. And I got it correct. And I got practiced. And I got a badge called a 5 is alive. And if I get more practice and I show the mastery on it, I will get even more badges and points. So this is a wonderful way to learn some calculus and review some of the calculus that we did last semester, so that way when I come back, you will have practiced our first semester skills. You'll earn badges and points, and I can track what you know and what we need to review, so we can learn even more calculus this next semester.